Hello, my name is Eunice Snee. I'm the Distance Learning Coordinator for Massachusetts. I'm also the Program Manager for the Save's PD Center for Distance Learning and Technology Support. This is part 2 of SMARTT data entry for distance learning. Okay, the first session we covered orientation and enrollment into a curriculum product. And today's this recording has to do with supplemental attendance. So when you first log into the SMARTT system, you come on to this welcome page. You're going to want to click on this distance learning link. Okay. You have two options here, curriculum enrollment and supplemental attendance. You want to make sure that the student is enrolled in a distance learning core product. And so find the core product and do a search for the students. Let's not choose extra learning. Let's choose KET Fast Forward. All right. Let's choose Wyatt Smythe to record some supplemental attendance. Okay. So now that we're sure that Wyatt's enrolled in a core curriculum product, we can go out to supplemental attendance, type in Smythe, and scroll down to the Wyatts of the world. And there he is, Smythe, Wyatt, KET Fast Forward. You can choose that name. We found out that Wyatt does not have any attendance entered in yet. And we can't enter the attendance until we give him a primary assessment test. So let's go back to the main menu, go to Students, type in Wyatt, and we're going to go into Assessments. And you can see he's been with the program for a couple of years now, and he continuously gets a better score. So this year we're going to add another assessment on 9/15/2015, exactly 1 year after last year. It knows we're using the TABE 910 here just because for an ASC student, Wyatt would normally be taking the mapped test, but we can't simulate that within the test arena here, and so we're using TABE. And since it already knows that TABE 9 was given last, it's going to default to TABE 10. And I think Wyatt improved well this year. He went up to 200 as a skill score. Now, before we leave this page, we want to make sure that we check off this primary assessment area. If you don't, and let's not do that right now, to show you what will happen. We're going to save this. We're going to go back to supplemental attendance for Wyatt. And we still can't enter in his attendance. And that's because we did not check off that primary assessment area. So back we go to the student record for Wyatt. And we go into his assessments. And we click on Edit and just check off that box. Now we can save it. And if we go back to the main menu, go back to that supplemental attendance for SMARTT, and Wyatt's at the bottom. Here we have the supplemental at a distance and supplemental face-to-face. Now if you click on one of these rows, you can see we can only put in attendance for July, August, September. That's because here it is September 22nd, and we can't put in attendance in the future. Same thing for supplemental face-to-face. So supplemental at a distance attendance is attendance where a teacher or somebody from your staff and the student are in a session together. It could be a join me session. It could be a Skype session. It could be a tutoring session where Wyatt needs to learn more about fractions. Or it could be a conversation class because Wyatt needs to have more experience or trying to speak English, okay? So we can put in the number of hours that you spent or a staff person spent with Wyatt. You want to keep a log so that you have evidence that this has taken place. And this attendance can be recorded at the quarter hour. So like a 1 in the 10th hour is going to round down to 1 hour. 1.9 hours is going to round up to 2 hours. But if we have 1.25, it's going to accept that, or 1.5, or 1.75. All right? And all you're doing is filling in the amount. Okay? Now, if you come back and you say, oh, gee, August, I made a mistake. That was really only an hour and a half. You can make changes as well. Okay? Now just save the attendance and Wyatt has supplemental attendance entered into the SMARTT system. Now, I want you to understand that as a program, you need to regularly schedule, and offer your DL students supplemental activities. They don't need to attend. This is optional for them, but you need to schedule it and make it available to the students at different times of the day. Now, Wyatt may be teaching not teaching, but he might be at work on Monday nights. So you'll never get Wyatt to come to an offering, something that you offered as a supplemental activity on a Monday night. And so mix it up, some in the daytime, some in the evenings, some on different nights, some on different days, so that Wyatt has the opportunity, if needed, to attend. Well, that's all there is to distance learning supplemental attendance. Number one, you have to make sure that the student is enrolled in a core curriculum, and you need to make sure that the student has an assessment and a primary assessment checked off. And then you just take the supplemental at a distance time that was spent based on your logs and enter it into the SMARTT system. Thank you very much.